starts in the brain. The largest sex organ that you possess is your brain.
Tune in for discussion on all sexual matters. Sexplosion on Power 102.
Well, I go to have a nice program.
Never nice. My brother. Well, thank you for staying here with us on Power 102.1 FM. And a very special nighttime greetings to you. Special thanks, as always, to 9 Miles International. Well, taking your time, it's now 7 minutes after 9 o'clock, and we do welcome you to Sexplosion here on Power 102 FM, your number one all-around station when it comes to talking music. And we welcome you to Sexplosion with the only sexologist in the Caribbean, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center, which is located in St. Augustine. And a very special good evening to you, family, my brother.
Pleasant good evening to you. A pleasant good evening to the listeners out there. For those of you who are listening to us on radio, those of you who are looking at us on our app or listening to us via our app, that's www.power102fm.com also.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are on Facebook and Instagram, I know you have joined us. I see we are building a little village.
This is very good.
Rishi Raj is on, Jennifer is on, Sally is on, Richard is on. Jennifer says, good evening, sir. You're looking very impressive in that hat. Leo Lakan, my nephew, is on. Jennifer Ali says, good evening to Junior. Clint Singh is on, Richard is on, Nixon is on. So we have a nice little community being built. Pleasant good evening to my darling Petra. She is on. You know, Junior, you always hear so many negative things about the police service. And I want to extend my best wishes to 3 police officers who took care of my dad in a very trying circumstance yesterday. I didn't mention it yesterday because I didn't have all of the information. But my dad found himself in a little situation and he needed assistance, and these 3 officers really went out of their way to assist him. WPC Dominique 17630, PC La Road, La Road ROD 19236, and WPC Baptiste Williams 8426 from the Western Division Community Police Unit. Thank you very much for what you have done. I know it's not something special that you have done. I'm sure it's all part of your duties, but Nevertheless, I want to extend my personal greetings and my heartfelt thank you for what you have done for my parents, especially my father. And my best wishes goes out to you.
Beautiful,
So,
beautiful.
these are our men in blue, as we say, what the men in blue gray,
Men in blue,
our
yeah.
men in gray, and men and women in gray who go above and beyond the call of duty sometimes to
Definitely.
assist people. And
Yeah.
you know, I have a lot of faith in our police service because I have always had that. We grew up with that. We grew up with that respect and whatnot. And it pays dividend. I think it paid dividend simply because of the things my father would have done in the past, and they really rendered assistance then. So, to all those officers attached to the Western Division Community Police Unit, thank you very much, and I hope the best for you all in all your
Great,
endeavors.
yeah.
So, we are here to speak about sex, sexuality, behavior. I had a wonderful conversation today with a pundit who is versed in numerology and astrology, so much so that he was called out to India about a month ago to be awarded with a special title. And I wasn't aware of that. He had called me sometime last month and said he wanted to speak with me and whatnot. And I told him, anytime you're ready, I'm available for you. And I didn't hear from him. And then suddenly I heard from him again. And he said, when can I see you? I said, you can see me today. And he came and, we were having this wonderful discussion about human beings and behavior and sex and all these things. And, when you hear from these learned individuals, and especially in the scriptures, the Hindu scriptures, about the spirituality attached to sex and behavior, and even the behavior of individuals and what are the underlying factors. And, when you think about, well, he made a very profound statement, which I believe in a lot. He said, when the stethoscope don't work, you have to go to the horoscope.
Okay, yeah.
And in our teaching, it teaches you that everything in your life is guided by what we call a patra. Not the patra, the singer, yeah? That's a book. It's a sacred book where every year it tells you what is going to happen in your life and the things that you could do to circumvent it or the things that you can do to make it better. And it's something that a lot of Hindus have veered away from, because the persons who were doing those things long ago, maybe they lost track of it and they weren't doing it properly, or some people just lost faith in it. But I know for a fact that it is something that is very powerful, and non-Hindus also partake in this, because numerology and astrology is not a Hindu thing. It's worldwide. But when you think of all the things that were brought down or were passed on to man from India, you'll realize that it was something propagated here and sent out. The very same thing the Mughals did. They came there, they found that, and they went out with it. And astrology is one of the things that is a very powerful part of our belief system. But the wonderful thing about it, and I'm not here to talk about religion or dharma and belief, but I'm here to talk about the tie-in that it has with a different planet and an individual. I don't know if you recall, some time ago, many years ago, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I did something called Sextrology, where we had a book and we were looking at the planets and looking at behavior of individuals. And, my wife understands this a lot. And people ask me, why is my wife so special? Is she so special because she understands these things? Like, she would tell me, because we were discussing what the pundit was saying, because afterwards I told her what the discussion I had with the pundit. And she says, yes, when you come into this life, you come with certain amount of expectations, and you come to seek certain knowledge. So whether it be sexual or otherwise, that is all part of your DNA when you come into this life. And the pundit put it in the very same way, that your sexual being, like for example in numerology, he gave me 3 numbers, which I'm not wishing to divulge tonight. He gave me 3 numbers, and he said, anyone born with those 3 numbers, book it, they are this way sexually. And, well, of course, I have a little record keeping and whatnot over the years. And I started to look at the numerology part of it and match it to the behavior of these individuals. And boy, was I surprised.
You was.
Yeah, I was surprised that most of them fell within those numbers. And I was like, okay. Now I see a pattern. Now I'm fine. But you know, you can't know everything in life. But in sex, I strive to know as much as possible. Now, I know there are tie-ins with past life and past life regression and all these things. But for someone out of the blue, like this pundit, to come and see me today and have this long discussion, he actually bought a gift for me from India also, to come and sit down and have a 1 hour chat about these things and give you these numbers. And out of the blue, you know, it wasn't anything planned.
Yep.
It wasn't anything planned, because he started to talk about, you know, how easy it is for a woman to prostitute herself based on the planetary alignments. And then it started to make sense. Because sometimes you wonder, why would a woman move from being a sensual object or having a sensual life to one of prostitution in the wink of an eye? And when you look at what he was telling me with this numerology and astrology, it made sense. Now, I don't know much individuals based on the planets that he was talking about, because it's not the planets that we talk about, like Taurus and Virgo and all those things. It's something a little different from that.
Yeah.
But of course, it has to do with those also. But it's a deeper sense and a deeper meaning. And it had me thinking. I didn't want to be disturbed. I think if the Prime Minister was calling me at that time, I wouldn't take the call. And right now, I'm talking about it, and I want to take a break, but I know we have to take a break. So let's take the break.
You're listening to Sexplosion on Power 102 FM with sexologist Dr. Raj Ramnanan.
Before you act, think twice. Think twice. Think clean. Go green. For environmental awareness. On 102 FM and April 94 FM. Continue to responsible action for life, safety, and now a cleaner environment. Our planet is one to bang on it, so let's make the right choices. A choice to reduce, to reuse, to recycle, to conserve, to preserve, to responsibly
I've seen this out here too.
Impact the world around us for this generation and those still to come.
Join us for daily tips on how you can get involved at home, at work, and in your communities.
Encourage your neighbors, colleagues, and family as well. Help change the culture and behaviors for a greener, more environmentally conscious TNT.
Think twice.
Think twice.
For environmental awareness.
Brought to you by Swimco, the Trinidad and Tobago Solid Waste Management Company Limited.
Power 102 FM and Boom 94 in association with the Gillette Group of Companies.
Bush Mountain TT, Salo Enterprises, and the Price Club Supermarket.
What's that?
Think twice.
Think twice.
For a cleaner, greener Trinidad and Tobago.
It's out enough.
Legend at the festival, Easter Sunday, April 21st.
And it's like you throw your cup away.
The Queen's Park Savannah in Spain. Just added to I Am Legend the Festival, Jamaica's youngest and newest superstar, Coffee. Coffee. I Am Legend the Festival, along with Wayne E1, also featuring Luciano, The Messenger. Singing Tony Curtis and the group Lust, 8 open at 3 p.m. For more info, call 610-BUJU and 484-BUJU. BUJU Coffee. I Am Legend at the Festival, Easter Sunday, April 21st, the Queen's Park Savannah.
One can tell you that it's the league we never knew we needed. The Sunshine Snacks Ballpark Community League. Every Monday from 6 p.m. at the NL Ballpark Stadium in Macoya. Come out and see Beatniks SC, Pacemakers, MIC Tigers, Unveil FC, Love in the House, Vampers FC, Maturita, right?
Maturita.
FC, and SME. They're all battling for greatness on the NL Ballpark Stadium, Macoya. Spectators are absolutely free. This past Monday, the final scores look like this. The MIC Tigers got past Vampers FC 3 goals to nothing. Beat Knicks SC. Beat Love in the House by 2-0. And SME drew with Unveil MC 1 goal apiece. Remember, the Sunshine Snacks Ballpark Community League is on every Monday at the ML Ballpark, McCoy. See you there. Well, that brings us to 20 minutes after 9 o'clock inside Sexplosion. Nobody does better what we do best when it comes to sex education, exclusively on Power 102 FM. Now, here's where we give you the opportunity to interact with Dr. Raj live here in studio. All you've got to do is give him a call at 222-8255, also at 612-8255. If you decide that you want to send him a WhatsApp or a private message, you can also do that on his private mobile 740-1961. You're listening to a program that deals with sex, love, and relationship exclusively on Power 102 FM, reliable, accurate, and effective.
Junior, I don't know if you recall, about a few years back, maybe about 5-6 years ago, there was a lovely, sexy young lady by the name of ARM, A-R-M.
No, I can't recall.
Can't remember her?
No, I can't recall.
Yeah, man, she still listens to the program regularly. She used to call in sometime, especially on a Friday night, and I told you I met the young lady, and she was such a lovely young lady.
You met, where you...
I can't tell you where.
No, when I'm saying, no.
I can't remember where.
I don't know.
Well, of course I remember where.
Local or...
Local. Well, she's with us tonight, so a pleasant good evening to that beautiful young lady who I haven't seen in years. I know she's a mother now.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, she's a mother now.
Oh,
And,
she upgraded us.
she has, she has upgraded, and but she's still beautiful as ever, I'm sure.
Still.
I'm sure. Sexy,
Well, they always
beautiful
say,
lady.
no, but I can tell you something. They always say when a woman has a child, she seemed to glow after that.
Glad you bring that up, because there's something the pundit told me about that, and I want to bring that up in a second. Lisa is on. Leo, well, I said Leo, my nephew's on. Lisa in Princestown area, she's on. Good evening. Barbie Girl, Carol, good night, sir. Giselle Estrada, my good friend Giselle, formerly Giselle Decent, very good to have you with us. Cassini is on. Helen, Mira, Usha, Farisha, Andrea, Indira, Timmy, Howard. Hey, Howard, how are you? Howard is over in Aruba. I wonder if he's still in Aruba or if he's anywhere wrong. Sean, Indra, Vijay, Shanice, Savi, Vindel. Oh, Vindel. So they're on.
So we have a nice listening audience.
I tell you, we're building a community. Kavita is on also. So we're building a nice little community. Asif. So that's good. And I'm happy to see that Arm is on. Nix is on also. Nix has changed her name from what it was before to Nix. I wonder why. Maybe she plays for the Knicks.
New York Knicks?
Yeah, New York Knicks.
Yeah, you never know, man.
You never know.
So she's changed from Nick to Knicks?
No, from Nikki to Knicks.
To Nikki to Knicks?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what's happening here? Well, yes, I was telling you about this encounter that I had with this pundit today. And one of the things that was so profound was this thing with the numerology. And I could pull a cadre of a good bit of persons that I've encountered in my life. And I could cross-reference it based on what he has told me. And the minute I start cross-referencing, it was like, wow, this is so true. Because I know the patterns and I know the behavior and I know exactly what the persons will and will not do. And based on what he was telling me, I was able to correlate it, and it was like, mind-blowing. But one of the things that he said to me that was so profound, which I strongly believe in, he says, have you ever noticed that when a man gets married, a young man gets married, he glows. There's a different glow about him.
Yeah.
And he literally glows for a few years. Well, he gave the number of years, but I don't want to limit it to that number of years, because some people will say it's less, some people will say it's more. But they glow for a number of years. And he said, what dulls that glow is cheating on your wife and ill-treating your wife.
Yeah.
Now, He didn't say cheating on your wife alone. He says cheating on your wife, but ill-treating your wife while you're cheating on her. He said because sometimes some woman understands that. But when you start ill-treating her, you no longer have the blessings of the deotas, what we call it, the angels then.
Yeah.
You no longer have that blessing. And it was such a profound statement because I know the validity of that. Because people would ask me about myself, why do I glow and why does my skin look like this and why I always looking rosy and whatnot. I think it's because of the way I treat my wife. I honestly believe that. And here he was telling me this, that it is the way you treat your wife, the angels bless you. And you have to believe something like that. I mean, if you believe in the divinity and the sanctity of marriage or the blessings that go with it and the spirituality that goes with it, it has to have some sort of meaning. It's not just you getting married to someone and it ends there. You get married to someone, but there's also a connection that goes through. The minute you start ill-treating that, because remember, this is a gift, you know. Your spouse, you are a gift to your wife, and your wife is a gift to you. So your spouse should always have that special feeling. If she doesn't have that special feeling, or he doesn't have that special feeling coming from you, it dulls.
It would, yeah.
Because then you wouldn't get the same. I think last night we were talking about that when we were talking about the brain. If I start feeling negatively about my spouse, I would not send out that positive energy anymore. As a matter of fact, I will dull and she will dull. And when we had that discussion today, it was such a profound statement that I could really understand in depth where he was coming from and what he was talking about. And then we started to talk about tantra and tantric sex and even the need for human beings to be sexually involved. Whether there are some persons who will have sex once in a while and it doesn't matter to them, and there are some persons who crave sex regularly, and there are some persons who crave sex with multiple partners regularly. So this afternoon into evening, when I was discussing it with my wife prior to coming to the program, she was seeing it from, well, she's into this past life regression and channeling and whatnot. And she was telling me about a lot of times people who channel, they always channel Jesus Christ. And when they channel Jesus Christ, some of the things that I believe, I didn't know this. Today she was telling me for the first time. Some of the things that I believe about Jesus Christ, she was confirming it. I was like, you know, I always believe that. I said, I always believe that, but I think somewhere along the line that was knocked out from the Bible. Now, I'm not going to say what it is because it's very controversial. And it doesn't take away from the power of Jesus Christ. I want that to be very clear. Like I said, I believe in Gandhi and I believe what Gandhi says. I like your Jesus Christ, but I do not like your Christians because they are not Christ-like. I believe that strongly. I really believe that. And the divinity of the Christ also has that element in it. Now, there was a movie that came out some years ago called the Da Vinci Code. You remember that with Tom Hanks?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Right, the Da Vinci Code touched on that. And it touched on the other aspect of what I believe in. Because I know what, if you study history and you study what the Romans used to do, they weren't just, they were very cruel people. Very, very cruel people. You know? I mean, if you could kill the firstborn of every home, firstborn son of every home, that's how cruel they were. But they wouldn't stop at that. They wouldn't stop at not raping the woman and doing these things because that was in their nature. That is how they behave. Right? And that wouldn't change because you're Mr. Saldana. The hell was it you? I'm the Roman, I'm your God.
They rule.
I'm your ruler. You are subjected to what I say and what I do. What I say you must do, you have to do. So I strongly believe in that. Now, upon discussing it with my wife this evening, I realized that some of the things that people channel, and you could find it on YouTube and whatnot, channeling Jesus Christ. People who channel. Channel is when you go, supposedly go back and speak to these individuals who have been on earth and they have died. Okay. That's what channeling is about. I would not profess to know much about it because my wife is more involved in that, not me, so I wouldn't go into in depth into it. So when we come back from the break, we'll talk about it. It's one to read or one to...
No, want to read too, but this one I'm afraid of.
Well, I can't help you, yes.
I know.
The Rush Restaurant and Lounge invites you to Beyond Karaoke every Thursday from 9 p.m. Enjoy the best karaoke, stunning ambiance, delicious meals, drink specials, and so much more.
Yeah.
Great times, unforgettable memories. Come
The voice live on.
The Rush for karaoke every Thursday from 9 p.m. Admission is free. Check us out at number 3 Eastern Main.
Well, just to remind you, inside the Business Corner, that's on Monday, the 8th of April, right here on Power 2.1 FM. Among the discussions, the private sector regional role, when success demands cool ideas and copyright creatives and content. It's all happening inside the Business Corner this coming Monday with Sandrine Ratan at 2 p.m. In association with TSTT, B-Mobile, Life is On, and the Kariri Business Hatchery. Well, taking our time, 29 minutes before 10 o'clock, inside Sexplosion on Power 102.1 FM, the guru of sex education, Dr. Raj Ramnanan. Our lines are open if you would like to participate in the program. Maybe you have a question or two. Well, he's sitting right here, and he can surely give you an answer. All you've got to do is give him a call at 222-8255. Also at 612-8255. If you do decide that you don't want to hear your voice on air, you can also send him a WhatsApp or a text message at 740-1961. That's his private mobile. And just to remind you, this program may contain material that is not suitable for children. Parental guidance are therefore advised. Yeah.
You know, some people are actually texting me and asking me where did they fall in. I'm not going to say it. You're not going to know.
No.
When I see you, I may tell you. Pleasant good evening to Mira, Indra, Suzanne, Gia. Hey, Izzy's on too.
Hey, okay.
So we also have Jaya Lakshmi, Rajendra, Spoiled Chick, Rukia, Marlon, Crystal, Wendy, Hema, Sandra, Talia, and Diane. So they're all locked on.
Beautiful.
And I have to thank Talia today for doing a wonderful job. She's such a good worker,
Oh,
I must say.
never heard that name in the office before.
Yeah, no, you'll know her by another name.
Oh.
So when we had, again, I didn't plan to do a program like this tonight.
Yeah.
Normally this will be a Thursday night program. But I was so taken aback by the discussion, and I was so energized by what was said, and knowing my history, personal history, and man knowing thyself, and all these things we discussed, every aspect of these things, and the fine line between moving from being a sensual person to prostitution, or being a devoted wife to getting into a relationship where you're cheating on your husband, and vice versa. It's all in the twist of a planet, It's all in the twist of a planet. Now, in the Hindu faith, we have something called Rahu and Ketu. And when Rahu and Ketu, those two planets, are against you, you're in trouble. You are in serious trouble. Wet paper could cut you.
Wow.
You know the old people have a saying,
Oh, yes.
you when you're so blight, paper does cut
People
you.
could cut you, yeah.
Wet paper could cut you when Rahu and Ketu are against you.
That's deep.
That's deep. They're dangerous planets. And some people are born under these planets. And they're very powerful individuals. They're born under one of the two. And they're very powerful individuals. As a matter of fact, when persons who do numerology and things go back to people like Hitler and Stalin and all these powerful men who passed through the world that have caused massive destruction and changes in the world, they find a thread. They find a thread in numerology and astrology with them. And one of the things I tell people, I say, some of the most dangerous people who pass through this world were all Taurians, you know. Yeah, check their history. Check it.
Taurians.
Taurians. They were born under that planet. Because they could be very powerful. Very, very powerful. And that power that they yield is unbelievable. What they could do with it.
When you say powerful, what do you mean? Positive or negative?
Both.
Both.
You could take power and make it positive or negative. When a person wants to get into her office or wants to get into your panty, don't they talk to you with a sweet tongue?
Well, yes. Yeah,
Right.
they do, yeah.
So they talk with you with a sweet tongue. Is that negative? No. When they get into your panty or they get into power, don't you see a different side of them?
Yes, you do.
That's the negative. But they could continue being sweet if they want to, or they could be a son of a bitch.
It all depends on their mindset.
Correct. And this does not only apply to women, you know, it applies to both sides of the divide, men and women. It's just that, like I said, I'm not an expert in this. From the little I know, based on my interaction with Mr. Mahesh Sastry in the US, and this pundit today, there are a lot of things that just combined and came together. So that's why I decided to touch on it tonight. Now, of course, if somebody wants me to talk about something else, or they want me to bring up another topic, or they would like me to give an answer for something else, I'll advise them to send me a WhatsApp message or a text message, and I know. But it is such an interesting and intriguing thing, because I have said many times on this program that women are controlled by the moon phases. They go through these different phases. Gia will tell you that, and a woman will know that certain time of the month they go through certain changes and behavior, and their period comes and all those things. Men go through cycles also. We have cycles. We're just not aware of it. We're just not aware of it. We don't pay attention to it. But remember, time and months and years is man-made. It is not universal.
Right.
What is universal is astrology, the alignments of the planets that it have out there. But on Earth, you will see certain planets, but on Saturn, you wouldn't see those same planets. You'll be seeing it from a different angle.
That's interesting.
So if you've seen Orion's belt from Earth, you will not see Orion's belt from the moon.
Okay.
You will see something different. The constellation looks different because you're at a different part of the universe. But universally, these things affect you. They affect your mind, your behavior. And again, there are persons who, when we talk about depression and whatnot, and that is something I didn't touch on last night, but there are certain moon phases that causes your depression to rise. And persons who go through depression will tell you that there are certain times of the month don't come near them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why a person who is mentally ill, they call him a lunatic. Do you know why they call him a lunatic?
They have their reactions involves the appearance of the moon.
Correct. Luna. Luna is moon. Lunatic. Their behavior is based on the movement of the moon. The rotation of the moon. The phases of the moon.
The reason why I mentioned that I have a family member that goes through something with that experience.
And it's very real. It's very, very real. So our sexual behavior is like that also. So sometimes you could go through life not being involved in anything sexual. As a matter of fact, being totally naive of things that are sexual. And suddenly, the alignment of the stars and the moon and the phases come into play. And you change overnight, you know. And you want to say, well, how the hell I change overnight? And I've seen it happen many times with people. I have seen persons who know me for years on program and will not reach out to me. And suddenly one day they'll reach out. And they say, well, I know why. I say, well, the stars have aligned. It's right for you to reach out to me now. I can only help you now. It's like last night going home from the program, there was a young lady who got in touch with me and told me of certain things that she wants done. And she told me, you are the only person who could do it. But I said, well, was last night the first time you have listened to the program? And she said, no. I've been listening to the program since I was going to high school. But she did not find it necessary, or the stars did not align for she to get in contact with me until now. And it's still not properly aligned. It is now getting in alignment for she to do so now. But when it comes in perfect alignment, then we'll meet. And I know that. That's why I don't rush the brush. That's why I tell you long ago, and this is what I ask a lot of young men to do. When you meet a young lady, don't rush into thinking whether I'm going to go to bed with this person or not. If sex is to happen, it will.
Yes, but you know...
Nothing could stop that, between two individuals.
Yeah, but you know the average person or the average thinking, especially men I'm speaking about, the minute they meet someone or they see someone that they like or attractive to, the first thing that program in their brain is, I wonder how having sex.
How quickly could I get you in bed?
Yeah.
But if sex is to happen, it will. You have to understand that. If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. Sometimes you meet a person for a short period of time, and maybe the friendship is what is needed, or maybe the coming together of you and that person is for a short minute or two, or a day or two, or a month or two. You have no control over that.
Okay, tell you what we are going to do at 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. We're going to take a break and come right back.
The Rush Restaurant and Lounge.
Tired of boring ice cream? Then it's time to step up to the real king of homemade. Introducing the bold and new look of Munchkins homemade coconut ice cream. Mmm, yummy, creamy, and coconutty. Now that's what you call ice cream. Munchkins coconut ice cream. Gotta have it today.
The Rush Restaurant and Lounge invites you to Beyond Karaoke every Thursday from 9 p.m. Enjoy the best karaoke, stunning ambiance, delicious meals, drink specials, and so much more. Great times, unforgettable memories. Come experience The Rush, The Rush for karaoke every Thursday from 9 p.m. Admission is free. Check us out at number 3 Eastern Main Road, Tacarigua today.
Well, I can tell you that nobody does better what we do best when it comes to sex education, right here on Power 102.1 FM, your number one all-around station when it comes to talk and music. You're on the inside of Sexplosion on this Friday evening with the guru of sex education, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center, which is located in St. Augustine, where he treats all sexual dysfunctions in both male and female. Now, don't forget, folks, our lines are open for those of you who would love to interact with him via the telephone. Feel free, 222-8255, also at 612-8255. For those of you who want to send him a WhatsApp or a text message on his private mobile, you can also do that at 740-1961. Reminding you once again that this program may contain material that is not suitable for children. Parental guidance are therefore advised. Yeah.
Well, Junior, you used to live in New York, so you know what they call the meatpacking district?
Yeah.
Where they have all these slabs of
Yes.
half a side of beef and half a side of pork and the pig hanging there.
I used to work in the area.
Well, I know. Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
And some people wonder if they're left hanging. You're hanging like the meat in the meat packing district.
Yeah.
If you're wondering if you're being hanging.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say you're hanging like the hangman noose, but
the
like,
hooks.
you know how they just have this hook?
Yeah,
It's
the
an
hook
S
is
hook.
the-
But they hang up the piece of the slab.
Yeah, the hooks.
And they cut it with a power saw.
Power saw,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. You know the thing?
Yeah.
Yes. Pleasant good evening to Diane, Usha, Indra, Haroon over in New York City, Rajesh, Michelle, Hanif, Sasha, Ronald, and for those of you on the Facebook.
Okay, we have a call.
Hit the like button.
Yeah, we have a caller on the line. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening.
Good night, all wrong program. Sex and everything on this program is about.
Thank you.
Dr. Raj said something some programs ago. I didn't get the full source, so I called to ask a question.
Sure.
Number one, he says he's a Sanata Dharma or Dara, or I like the right pronunciation.
I'm a Sanatanist
So that's
Hindu.
That's what it means.
Well, that means eternal truth.
Lovely.
Sanatan Dharma means eternal truth.
I tell you, right, I'm a Rasta, so I like those kind of stories. One more thing, you spoke about Kali and Lord Shiva. Tell me, the female to Lord Shiva, you said it's Kali?
Well, Kali is the strength of Shiva. That came out of the strength of Shiva. That is the power behind Shiva. Kali is one form of Durga Mata, but Kali is that powerful entity. And if you study the Kali is not what people make it out to be, where people say Kali Puja and whatnot. I mean, not discounting what they do, but they do one aspect of it. But there's a divinity also associated with it.
And last but not least, they spoke about when Ganesh lost his head, who made Ganesh lost his head, and what I would like to remember, I have it fully.
Well, it's Lord Shiva that took Ganesh head off, because no matter what army was sent to get Parvati to come out from the cave where she was in exile for herself, she created Ganesh out of the muck from her hands, because sitting there doing jap in the cave, and she gave life to this form that he became Ganesh. And when they went back and they reported to Lord Shiva that there's this little boy blocking them, he went there and he got the boy distracted, and he threw his trishul and took his head off. Well, he knew exactly what he was doing then, because that is a kata. Well, it is something to explain the divinity of also Ganesh and the power of Ganesh. That's why he was given the elephant head, the all-knowing and the remover of obstacles. An elephant could remove any obstacle,
Lovely. And once somebody makes Lord Shiva put back,
That is Parvati, his wife.
right.
His wife.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Raj.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I put in I feel I have been paid there now.
Right.
Thank you. I'm a Rasta from Fighter,
All right. Ja Rastafari.
keep going good.
Yeah, man. Yes, so when you talk about that behavior of human beings, sexual behavior, the planets play a part in that also. So sometimes you can move from one individual with all your thinkings and all your being and everything that you will, and it's shattered in a moment, Once those stars have aligned and the right person come into your life, it will change you, That's why there are lots of persons out there. So sometimes you find a man gravitating towards a woman, despite the fact that he's married or he has a family and whatnot. And he can't explain why this is happening, And I'm not talking about doing it through lust, I'm talking about the alignment and these things coming into being. Let's say, for example, you're living in Trinidad. Now, you don't like to cross the Red House. I mean the Lighthouse. To go no way. Correct?
That's good. Yeah.
Right. So you are in the Digo area. But there might be a woman in Manzanilla who is interested in you. And you have no idea. Or a woman in Toko. She's hearing your voice and she's attracted to something about you. And for years she has been building on that attraction and saying in her mind, one day I will like to meet Junior. And when that stars align, she will meet you. Whether it be for a second, 10 seconds, an hour, it doesn't matter. Because once the wish is within the person, it's going to happen. It's the same thing with the sexual self. Now, the women who are like that are the men who are like, they existing, but they're not sexual or sensual. They're just normal.
Yeah.
Well, what we will call bland. So they're going through life in a blasé manner. They know nothing about that. And all of a sudden, things change. And they suddenly have an interest in sex. they suddenly have an interest in doing things of a sexual nature. But this, you're talking about a mature man, 50-something years of age, and all of a sudden he wants to explore, and he wants to try this, and he wants to try that, and he's gravitating towards a person who wants to do the very same thing. You feel that happen by chance? Those things don't happen by chance. That's why when we are quick to blame a person for infidelity and being a sexual person and whatnot, we have to stop and think, is there a greater reason for this happening? Is there a more divine reason for this happening? And you say, well, how could you use the word divine and this person is committing a sin? And this is where you have to take the concept of sin out of it. Now, I know if you are embedded into a certain religion or a certain way of thinking, you'll want to use the word sin. But if you take the word sin out of it, and you say, well, I am a human being, I am controlled by the moon and the stars and the astrological signs and things that have out there, and my being is ruled by that. It's not, I am a human being, but my brain is a computer that is picking up signals from all over the universe. That's what your brain does, you know. Your brain picks up these signals from all over the universe. That's why they tell you don't keep a cell phone under your balls when you're driving. Don't keep a cell phone by your ears all the time because it's going to interfere with the brain waves and whatnot. That's why they tell you certain things you shouldn't be doing. And we will survive and say, well, what stupidness I'm talking? But why it is, there are more fishes to be caught in the sea at certain times of the month. Why it is you cut a tree and it will not turn to weevil or dust. And it lasts longer if it's cut at certain time of the month. Why it is the woodsman will tell you don't go into the forest on a certain day in the month. Why it is these things happen. Some of them will say, well, I don't know. They say. So my wife will say, who is they? That's what my wife will always say. Who is they? Because she questions all those things. But if you know the moon and the stars and the phases and whatnot, it is a signal coming to your brain to tell you don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. Because you're interfering with something that is going to channel something to you. So our brain is a supercomputer that is getting signals from all over the universe all the time. So that's why when you medicate the brain, like last night we were talking about medicating the brain, you can't pick up those signals properly. There's no way you can pick up the signals properly. So you are at a loss. The brain is not only something that gives you that power. You remember last night I was talking about the willpower?
The willpower, right? Yeah.
You see a beautiful woman, you're attracted to her. You go into a party and she stand up in the corner there and say, God, I have to talk to this woman. What will make you go and talk to her? Not willpower? Right. You have to will yourself to do it. Sometimes you're coward, no one asks you, you're afraid of rejection, but you're still going. You're going with a plan. You're going with a plan. According to a friend of mine today, he was telling me, he said, this guy met this woman and he tells she, you know, I'm interested in you. She said, well, I'm not interested in you. I only like women. He said, I'm a woman trapped in a man's body. Can you help me? Can you help me? I immediately thought of something.
Yeah, but the best way is giving a little bounce, not too hard, a little touch.
Well, I don't know about that because you might end up bouncing a little too hard. I have to say a pleasant good evening to my nephew Darren. He's on. I haven't seen him on for a while, so I'm happy that he's here. Naim Prashant is on. The medical team is locked on. Very interesting in the sexology. I will show you that book when you come to the office, Prashant. Mira is on. Anand is on also. I know a few Anands out there. Javed is on. Ravi is on.
Okay, before we go to the break, we're going to take this call. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening.
Hello?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Raj.
Good evening.
Oja from Orange Valley.
Mr. Oja, how are you? Sitaram.
Last night I missed out something from you.
What's that?
It's two words to be talking about the brain, it's two letters, some E-O-O-E-B.
E.
What?
E. Erectile enhancer.
Erectile?
Erectile enhancer.
No, you said one was out and one was in. I don't remember that.
Yeah, please listen to us
On the phone,
getting a feedback.
not on the thing. Well, I was talking about the brain sharpener and I was talking about the erectile enhancer.
I didn't mark it down well. You tried to mark it. But what you talk just now, right now, you talk about a man trapped in a woman or a woman trapped in a man.
Yeah.
You know something, what I observe in the sea, how a crab is trapped in a conch shell.
Uh-huh.
Observe that?
Uh-huh.
In the conch shell, like if a conch die, a crab will go and they get trapped in.
Yeah, they call him hermit crab. But somebody just send the information for me. I was talking about GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. That's the brain. GI, garbage in, garbage in, gives you, no, GIGO. O. No, GIGO. No, GIGO. GO. Garbage in, garbage out. Thanks very much, Izzy. You see, Izzy is on the ball. Yeah, man, Mr. Oja. You all the best to you too. I mean, he's an elderly gentleman, and you have to give a little way for him. And he's someone I know for many, many years.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 5 minutes before 10 o'clock. Inside Sexplosion on Power 102 FM with the guru of sex education, Dr. Raj Ramnanan. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with you. Stay tuned.
Sunday, April 21st.
We're going on.
Yeah, I don't buy my ticket.
I know that. I know you don't
Queen Sparks of Spain.
I know you don't mess with that.
Just added to I Am Legend the Festival. Jamaica's youngest and newest superstar. Coffee. I Am Legend the Festival. Along with Wayne Wonder. Also featuring Luciano, The Messenger, singing melody, Tony Curtis and the group Lust. Gates open at 3 p.m. For more info, call 610-484 Buju.
You ever saw that movie? With he and Kirk Douglas?
I sure have, but
He killed Kirk Douglas at the end then.
I don't like Tony Curtis as actor. I never like it.
Festival, Easter Sunday,
He was in a few
April
westerns,
21st,
so.
Kirk Douglas and Janet Leigh, which was Tony Curtis' wife at the time.
Like Vivian Lee
What
mother.
movie, eh?
Janice Lee is.
The Queen's Park Savannah, Port of Spain. Just added to I Am Legend the Festival. Jamaica's youngest and newest superstar. Coffee.
Somebody want to know if you still had Jerry curls. You never had Jerry curls. You had long hair.
No, it used to be Kirk.
Yeah, no, but you never had Jerry curls.
Jerry Curtis, no.
No, Junior never had Jerry curls, Harun.
Info, call 610-BUJU and 484-BUJU.
Wait now, I wonder if our website working.
What are you asking me?
Buju Coffee.
I could check
I Am
and see.
Legend, The Festival, Easter Sunday, April 21st. The Queen's Park Savannah.
Before you act, think twice. Think twice. Think clean. Go green. For environmental awareness. Power 102 FM and Boom 94 FM continue to champion responsible action
I
for
know.
life, safety, and now a cleaner environment.
Sweeter.
Yeah.
Our planet is what we make of it, so let's make the right choices. The choice to reduce, to reuse, to recycle, to conserve, to preserve, to responsibly dispose, and to be more mindful of how we impact the world around us for this generation and those still to come. Join us for daily tips on how you can get involved at home, at work, and in your communities. Encourage your neighbors.
They could actually see your teacup, boy. They could actually see your teacup.
Environmentally conscious TNT. Think
really?
twice. Think twice. For environmental awareness. Brought to you by Swimco, the Trinidad and Tobago Solid Waste Management Company Limited. Power 102 FM and Boom 94 in association with the GURD Group of Companies. Bush Mountain TT, Salo Enterprises, and the Price Club Supermarket. Think twice. Think twice for a cleaner, greener Trinidad and Tobago.
tell you more now than ever, we are taking sex education to a whole new level right here on Power 102 FM with the only sexologist in the Caribbean, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center. I'll tell you what we are going to do is go straight to the lines. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello? Oh, okay. They left us.
All right.
2228255, also at 6128255. Yeah.
So let me read a few things, but before I go on to reading, I would like to say pleasant good evening to my cousin Carl Hardat. I guess you was listening to us silently. All of a sudden I see your name popping up, and only if you say something, you must let me know you're listening, man. Excellent program, bringing out the astrological side of attraction of individual. Prashant Maharaj, garbage in, garbage out. Of course, we use that in technology, but it's also for the brain. If you feed the brain crap, you're going to get crap out of it.
Yeah.
And you know that. Big up to family, the one and only Junior. Harun said, yes, the man here was very curly, Raj, and long. That doesn't mean to say it's Jerry curl. Jerry curl is when you use chemicals to straighten your hair.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what Jerry curls are.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
You never use chemicals in your hair. You have naturally long hair.
Had.
Well, not had. Can't say have.
No,
I take that back.
No, it's a growing
Going
in.
inside. Yes. There are days I feel so tired, but I notice since I've turned 40, my body changes, or should I say my mind. I'm a bit more slow. I have to really push myself to do stuff. Is this normal at this age, or am I going through menopause? You're not going through menopause, but you may have some hormonal imbalance that you have to look at. So that's what you have to pay attention to. Gail, hi, Dr. Raj. How are you, my dear? I thought you would have been on with us a long time ago. Rishi from London is back after a long hiatus. Rishi from London. And somebody says, good night, doctor, but they didn't give me their name. I have no idea who you are. But your number ends in 8137. Good night, Dulcie. How are you? Camille is also on. Izzy is, I wonder if she's starting her...
Rendezvous.
Izzy, stop it, stop it, stop it. I tried all how to block. And this woman, boy, hear this now. Sometime I wonder,
Yes. It makes you wonder, as a matter of fact.
yeah, I have a song, you know, I wonder, it's frightening. Leaving now, it's just, is that the right thing? Anand is watching also. I don't know where he's at. Celia is also on. Yes, so we were talking about the brain receiving, and we receive from the planets, you know. There are certain planets, when it is in alignment with the earth, certain individuals behave differently. Whether we like it or not, we have to understand that. That's why thousands of years ago, when Hindus were doing their what we call puja,
Yeah.
which is devotion. Puja is simply devotion. We used to put nine leaves on the bedi. The bedi is the significance of the bedi is Earth, Mother Earth. But we put 9 leaves on Mother Earth, representing the 9 planets. You know, we have always known that there are 9 planets out here. Always. You know. We have always known that there are 9 planets.
That was written in history.
That is from time immemorial.
9 planets.
Yeah, we know that from way back when. So we put 9 of those palm leaf on the bedi to do our puja, and we offer, first of all, bath. We offer food, clothing, everything that you need for sustaining life, a bed to lie down, which is the dub grass.
Yeah, okay.
All those things are significant, you know. There are lots of Hindus who do puja and they know what they're doing there, you know. And they don't ask, you know. They don't know why you put those things there, why you put the clove. After you feed the mixture of the sugar and with the leaf,
Yeah.
you have to give clove. That is to cleanse the mouth. That is what everything that you do there is a significant.
Well, I'm learning something.
It's very
new.
significant.
I'm learning something new tonight.
But you're doing that because you're bringing the planets in alignment to you. Your planet, you're satisfying your planet. Because one of those 9 planets is your planet. Just as how Venus rules the sexual side of you.
Yeah.
You know, women from Venus, men from Mars. You know that book?
Oh, yeah.
That is very significant also, you know. But if you understand what you do on the bedi there, the kalsa, the significance of the kalsa, the water in the kalsa, the tree pan ke pata that they put there, the pan leaf, right? The earth, the moon and the sun, Father, the Son and the Holy Ghost, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, same thing, you know. That's why a true Hindu cannot condemn any religion, because we do the very same thing. We know what the significance of each of those things. The same thing when you tie the sacred thread around the kalsa, it's 3 times you tie it. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Right? But it is for that alignment of the planet and what it does to you as a human being and the powers. Some people say, well, you're doing that to gain power and you do that to gain riches. You don't do that to gain power and riches, you know. You do that because it's the right thing to do. That's why you do it. You do it because it's the right thing to do for you. And if there's any blessings to come, that is another thing the Pandit talked about. He said if there's any blessings to come, it will come. The angels will bless you. What we call the devatas. They will bless you. So you don't have to worry about blessings. You don't have to worry about charging somebody and if you're going to get another meal. What you have to worry about is overcharging. What you have to worry about is taking your gift and using it in a bad way.
Abusing it.
Abusing it. That is what you have to worry about. You have to worry about those things. And you have to make sure you don't do those things. Like when somebody of religion comes to me, I don't charge them. When somebody who cannot afford my services come, I give them back their money. Because they will initially pay. I say, no, you take back your money. I don't want that. Because I will assess you based on what you're telling me, and I will know. I will have a feeling where I should. Sometimes I will tell them outside, give this person so and so free.
Is it because that you will think? Is it because it will come back in some way?
I don't look at it that way. No. It does, but I don't look at that. What I look at is my perception. You see, persons like yourself. You what? The 13th of January. 11th of January. Persons born on a certain number are very intuitive. Now again, I'm not going to give those things out here because I'm not an expert in it to go into details. That's why. It was only taught to me today. No, I heard about it before. As I said, I work with Mahesh and whatnot. But it's something that was not, I grabbed onto. But today I grabbed onto it because it was making so much more sense today as opposed to before.
Okay, yeah.
So there are certain individuals who are more intuitive than others. There are certain individuals based on their numerological signs. They have the power to become a prime minister. They have that within them. The most powerful person in the land. But they may take that and use it in a way that is they're not supposed to use it. And the same thing with sex. You have certain amount of energy, sexual energy within you, you know. That's why when we talk about the chakras, the 7 chakras, and we talk about the kundalini, there's a reason for those things. I mean, it just so happened that Hindi words, and it's a concept that is born out of India and taught to the rest of the world. But take that out of it, and anybody will tell you, any scientist will tell you, they are electromagnetic pulses that goes up and down the spine. That's why that's an electrical connection. It's like the wiring in your house. You have your main fuse box, and you have all that electricity going through the house. That's what it is. That is your spine and your nerves.
Interesting.
So the same thing with the brain receiving those things and processing it, and then it affects your body. It affects your body, it affects your mind, it affects your soul. Now, nothing could affect the soul in the way that we would say that you could hurt the soul or you could change the soul, you know. That don't happen, you know. But the soul is part of the body. And if the body is affected, you're not doing right for the soul. In Sanatan Dharma, it teaches you that you cannot wet the soul, you cannot burn the soul, you cannot hurt the soul, you cannot change the soul. The soul is that divine spark of the Lord. That's why Hindus say Namaste. I bow to that which is holy within you. I bow to that God within you. You are a divine spark of God. We don't say Namaste out of joke, you know. When we clasp our hand and we greet each other like this.
Yeah.
For the typical Trinidadian, we say Sitaram. It's the same thing. Because Lord Hanuman proved to the world that nothing is of value if it does not have God in it. And people ask him, he was given a gift of this necklace made of all the jewels, the finest jewels at that time, diamonds and whatnot. But he was breaking each one because he's very strong. He could break diamond. He was breaking each one and looking in it. So somebody asked him, why are you so stupid? Why are you breaking all them things? Nothing's so valuable. He said, this have no value. And I asked him, why? How you could say this have no value? He said, there's no God in it. I've not seen Ram and Sita in it. And they challenge him. They say, well, you talking about Ram and Sita. You are Ram and Sita in you. And he busts open his chest and he showed them Ram and Sita within his chest. He said, I have God in me. So that spark of divinity, everyone has it within them. We just don't know how to channel it or tap into it. There's pictures of that. If you go to a Hindu home, you'll see that Hanuman standing there with his chest open. And you'll see in his chest, you'll see God. Well, Ram and Sita. That's why we say Sita Ram. There's a reason why we do things. A lot of us don't know why we do it because they say to do it. But stop following what they say and know what to do.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 10 minutes after 10 o'clock. You are listening to Sexplosion on Power 2.1 FM on this Friday evening with the guru of sex education, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center, where he treats all sexual dysfunctions in both male and female. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with you. Stay tuned.
Fed up of car problems? Well, your solution is Flair Auto Services. They repair all vehicles, makes and models, even roll-on and roll-off vehicles. Flair Auto Services is your one-stop shop for batteries, tires, alignment, tune-up, suspension, electrical, and diagnostic scans. Record services, and we'll even pick up and drop off your vehicle. So don't waste precious time going elsewhere. Let Flair Auto Services handle it all. Give them a call at 662-6545. Flair Auto Services, opposite Carib Brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Your total car care stop. And we welcome you back to Sexplosion here on Power 2.1 FM. The guru of sex education, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center, which is located in St. Augustine. Folks, don't forget our lines are open. For those of you who would love to interact with them via the telephone, feel free at 222-8255. Also at 612-8255. For those of you sending him a WhatsApp or a text message, you can also do that on his private mobile 740-1961. You can also send in your messages on our website at Power 102 FM. I tell you, nobody does better what we do best when it comes to sex education. On your number one, all-around station, Power 102 FM. Your number one for talk and music. Yep.
Let me give you just a little example of something that we don't pay attention to as Sanatanist Hindus. when Lord Krishna was alive on earth, he was eating dirt. And as a little child, you know, children will put mud in their mouth and whatever. And his mother got concerned about that. And she grabbed him and forced open his mouth. And when she forced open his mouth, you know what she saw?
What's that?
The earth as a ball in his mouth spinning. So we knew the earth was round 10,000 years ago. No Hindu will ever tell you the earth was flat, you know. Because that is written in the scriptures that she saw a ball spinning in his mouth.
Wow.
A blue ball. And it's described as a blue ball. Nobody knew the earth looked blue from outer space.
Interesting.
But we don't pay attention to these things.
Interesting.
The young Hindus out there don't pay attention to these things and know the power of their belief
religion.
system. They don't. But getting back to what we're talking about, the power of these things and the power of sex and the planets is what we have to align ourselves with and what we have to understand. We have to understand that. And now if you choose the life of a brahmachari, which is Lord Hanuman, sex is out of the question. That's out. You're done with that.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? You renounce everything, sex included. But there are very few human beings on this earth who does that. Renounce sex totally. I am not talking about waiting for a time to renounce sex. I'm talking about renounce sex from the day one. Sex is no part of you. Right? But those who choose that life to enjoy the beauty of this thing called sex, because again, the only two things that create is God and sex. Even if they talk about scientists in a lab creating a child in a test tube, that is not creating a child in a test tube. You're still using something from the male and something from the female to do that, you know.
Right.
So that's still creation, you know.
Yeah.
You just are a means by which this is happening. It may not be the sexual intercourse, but it's still intercourse. It's intercourse at a different level, a higher level, a different level. But if sex creates, and sex is pleasurable, and sex gives you this divinity and this divine feeling, how do you feel when you're having sex? Describe it to me. I want people out there to describe it. Is it like a snow cone on a hot day? Is it like an ice cream in your mouth on your birthday?
It takes you into a different...
No, describe it. And I will, if I have to describe it, I will tell you it's divine. It's pure divinity. If I have to describe it, because to me it's divinity. Because that's how I feel. It is not just a physical act, it is an act of spirituality for me. But not spirituality of some people want to put it that, oh, it's spirituality because you only have to have sex with one person and them kind of crap.
Yeah.
Not to me. I'm talking about that divinity in a different way. The divine feeling that you get from it, the energies that you get from it, the removal of that negative pathway and strengthening of that positivity in you. That is what I talk about, the glow that you get after it.
Well, after, yeah, you get a beautiful glow, right? Okay, tell you what we are going to do is go back to the lines. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening. Family, how are you going?
I am all right. Good evening, Mr. Raj.
Good evening.
I called to ask a question because I cannot understand the reason, so I called to ask a question.
Sure.
When a woman is menstruating, which religion says that she is unclean? Is that a fact or that's a myth?
That's cultural. That is cultural, and that is a way of human beings controlling other human beings.
Can I listen over live?
Sure.
Please? Thanks.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you. You see, everything I do in life, Junior, it has to go back. It has to go back to my belief here. And when Sati, the first wife of Lord Shiva, died, she committed Sati, burned herself alive. And to relieve the pain from Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu took her body and chopped it up And everywhere where parts of her body fell in India, there's a temple for that part of her body, including her vagina, And that's a place a woman who is seeing a period could go and do a puja, Do you know that? Lots of Hindus don't know that. And they wouldn't even want to read that. You know why? They will say that is nastiness. They themselves will say that is nastiness. But imagine that, Imagine that. This whole concept of control of women comes about because man created laws and restrictions. They created that. Now there are certain things that a woman will stay away from because of the moon phase. There are certain things a man's supposed to stay away from because of the moon phase. There are certain things when you're fasting you stay away from it. There are some persons who say, "Oh, I'm not eating meat during Lent." Fine, that's your sacrifice. Remember, fasting is a sacrifice, but it's also a cleansing. You shouldn't say I'm fasting, but boy, oh God, I wish I have a piece of meat. That is not fasting. You're not cleansing your mind. Oh God, boy, when I pass by that place and I smell the fried chicken, so God, I want a piece. That is not fasting. That is not fasting. You're still lusting after something that you should not lust after.
So mind control plays a very
mind
important
control.
part.
When you fasting, you're fasting. Like when I'm fasting, nothing bothers me. Nothing bothers me.
So you could see a delicious plate of food and that wouldn't affect you.
It would not affect me. I would not even have the need or the taste for that because I am fasting. I am abstaining from certain things because of a spiritual reason. The sexiest woman could be in front of me butt naked and it wouldn't have any effect. As a matter of fact, I always tell people the story, and this is the God honest truth. There was nobody who liked Carnival more than me, maybe except you. And I was the manager of Triveni Band. Triveni Brass, when Triveni was Triveni Brass. And one year, we had gigs all over Trinidad. Airports Authority, Panam Guest House, Bel Air, all over. Right? All over. And our last fete used to be where? The Oval. The last fete before Carnival, before we go on the road, was the Oval. Sunday evening, I'm at the Oval. Band set up. Now, normally the guys will get paid after they don't play. Before they start to play, because they started to play around 10. About 9:30, I went to them. I gave everyone an envelope. I said, don't open this until all they don't play. But I'm paying you all now. Right? I make sure everything was perfect. I went and meet the person who was in charge. I tell him, I say, everything's set up. And I went back to the band and say, guys, I'm out of here. So they was like, where you going? I said, temple. I said, temple? I said, yeah. Tonight is Shivratri. I'm in the temple. I say, I came to do my duty because duty is worship. Work is worship. My godfather taught me that. Work is worship. Do your job. Do your duty. And after I paid everyone, I left, went home and picked up my wife, and I went to Kumoto. Left Port of Spain, went home, picked up my wife, and went Kumoto to the temple where I normally would go by my best friend, and had my devotion for the entire night. And I had nothing to eat, nothing to drink except water for that entire day.
That's full mind control.
But that's exactly what it is. I was there in a fete, but there was nothing about the fete that was affecting me. The music couldn't affect me because my mindset was on something else. You could have what food you wanted to have there. Those things were, as a matter of fact, for that 14 days prior, I was fasting. So the guys really say, you know, that's true. You was only drinking water right through. Sometimes they'll bring something for me to eat and I'll just tell them, no. No thanks. I okay. I'm good.
That is a lot of control.
But it is.
It is a lot of control.
But how many people fast like that? Like there's this one woman who harasses me all the time. And I have to remind her, you're fasting. She's fasting now because now it's Navratri. So I had to remind her, I said, you're fasting. And I know why I'm telling her that. Because I know about mind control. I could control my mind. You could be who or what during my time of fast or during my time of abstaining from certain things for religious purpose.
Yeah.
Doesn't affect me. Doesn't affect me. As a matter of fact, this Shivratri, I was in a country where there was no temple. But I did my devotion in my room. I walk with a shivlingam just to do my stuff.
Wow.
But that's my devotion.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, 25 minutes after 10 o'clock. You are on the inside of Sexplosion on this Friday evening with the only sexologist in the Caribbean, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center, which is located in St. Augustine. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with you. Stay tuned.
Before you act, think twice.
Think twice.
Think clean. Go green. For environmental awareness.
Power 102 FM
And Boom 94 FM continue to champion responsible action for life, safety, and now a cleaner environment.
Our planet is what we make of it, so let's make the right choices.
The choice to reduce, to reuse, to recycle,
To conserve, to preserve,
to responsibly dispose, and to be more mindful of how we impact the world around us for this generation and those still to come.
join us for daily tips on how you can get involved at home, at work, and in your communities.
Encourage your neighbors, colleagues, and family as well. Help change the culture and behaviors for a greener, more environmentally conscious TNT.
Think twice
Think twice.
for environmental awareness.
Brought to you by Swimco, the Trinidad and Tobago Solid Waste Management Company Limited.
Power 102 FM and Boom 94 in association with the Gillard Group of Companies.
Bush Mountain TT, Salu Enterprises, and the Price Club Supermarket. Think twice
Think twice.
for a cleaner, greener Trinidad and Tobago.
I want to continue that knowledge and experience. This is what it's all about when you are on the inside of Sexplosion on Power 102 FM. Sexologist Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center. And just to remind you once again, our lines are open, so I'm going to go straight to the lines. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening. Okay, that person left us. So just to remind you,
I have something I want to read here.
go right ahead.
Sheena asked me what Lord Krishna represents. I had a dream about him when I had my son. He came to me and playing with me. Could you tell me, please? Well, you are one of the blessed person. When Lord Krishna playing with you, he's playing with his devotee. You may not even realize that you're a devotee of him. He plays with the gopis and he plays and he's the most adorable and lovable representation of God there is.
Wow.
He came in the dark night. He came in the middle of the night. He came when they were murdering all his brothers that were born before him. He came in a storm. Someone had to carry him out through a massive flooding to save him. And there was a point in his life when his cousins were at war, and he presented himself, and he told the cousins, two sides, five cousins on this side and the rest on the other side, and he told them, he say, one side could have me and the other side could have my army. And the five cousins who were very devoted to him said, we'll have you. He said, but I will not fight. Now this is the Lord. Eh? He said, but I will not fight. I'll be there, but I will not fight. And the other side wanted the army, so they choose the army. They say, yeah, we have your army. But if the Lord is on your side, who could defeat you?
Well, exactly.
Who could defeat you? So you have blessings that is unbelievable. That is love and devotion. That's divinity at the highest order. And I see not my good friend, my great friend, Michael Salikram is on. And he knows what I'm talking about. There are many times Michael Salikram is fasting and doing his dance. There are many times Michael Salikram is fasting and performing all over the place. There are many times Michael Salikram is fasting for one reason or the other and people don't even know. And I could tell you that for a fact. Because he's a devotee.
Yeah, that is.
People don't know. You see, again, they say Hindus are intolerant, but we tolerate everything. Eh? We tolerate every religion. Not tolerate. We accept every religion, every belief, and everything. But they say we are intolerant, but nobody tolerates us. You know? Everybody wants to convert us, but nobody wants to tolerate us. But they say we are intolerant. But it's like you are this, but you're blaming me of that.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what it's reverse psychology. Pure reverse psychology. But I could tell you something about that gentleman, Michael. We're on the same wavelength when it comes to certain things. There are things that will affect us the very same way, at the very same time. The very same way at the very same time. Because we're born under the same planet with the same alignment.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I know that and he knows that.
So you think along the same level?
We have that understanding.
Yeah.
We may be years apart in terms of birth, but the alignment of the planet ever so often the rotation comes along and that alignment is there. So I know that. And I revealed that to him many years ago. He just didn't believe me. He didn't, Stephen, my good friend Stephen Sohan is on. Rita is on. Gloria, she's on. Good night, I am here. Sue-Ann, Sandy, they're all here. But I like that from Sheena, boy. I love that. Wow. You have a dream like that, I don't want to get up, boy. You know, you just say don't wake up with a beautiful woman in a dream. If I had a dream like that, that should be my parting ways, boy.
Don't even come 10 meters within the bed.
10 meters? I don't want to ever wake up. I'm telling you. Michael will tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
He will tell you the very same thing.
Don't even come in the room.
What? A dream of that date here? Izzy, stop it.
Easy on the road again, right? Yeah.
Hi Raj, you're not live tonight? Why am I not live tonight? I did or?
Not live. Oh, I know see why he said that. Well,
Right.
she said that. The electricity went by then.
Oh, that's PK in my arrow.
Oh.
Maybe the broadcast is not reaching there.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 29 minutes before 11 o'clock. And I can tell you, nobody does better what we do best when it comes to sex education. Right here on Power 102 FM every Thursday and Friday evening with the only sexologist in the Caribbean, Dr. Raj of Total Imagen, the Adult Therapy Center. But just to remind you once again that our lines are open if you would love to interact with him via the telephone. Feel free, 222-8255, also at 612-8255. For those of you sending in your WhatsApp or your text message, you can also do that on his private mobile, 740-1961. You're listening to a program that deals with sex, love, and relationships, exclusively on Power 102 FM. Reliable, accurate, and effective.
So Chanmati Singh is... But the reason why I bring those things into it is not... I know what this program is, you know. I have developed this program and created this program with the knowledge of what I am doing, you know. I didn't do it by VAPs, you know. This program didn't come about by VAPs, as some people may think, you know. This program was conceptualized in my brain many, many years ago, even before I was offered. In my brain, I know what I wanted to do. I know I wanted to change the way we think about sex.
Yeah.
And this is when I was a teenager growing up. So if somebody feels Sexplosion is somebody else's idea, it is my creation. It was created within me many, many years before I was even offered being on the radio. And that's why I chose the name Sexplosion, to blow the myth out of sex.
That was a mindset growing up.
Completely. And if you put your mind to certain things in life, it's going to happen. That's why when you have divine guidance, you are given that guidance. So when somebody approached me in a negative manner because of their religious upbringing and their intolerance of me and my belief system, I smile because I know what I have is irking you. It's irritating you for you to come and tell me, boy, I should take a different path or I should do this. It means I'm doing something right. Not that I'm doing something wrong. Because if I'm getting to you, and with all your belief and all the strength that you have, and I'm getting to you, then something I'm doing is right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the detractors and the negativities or the person out there who want to make these vile comments and whatnot on me, I just tell them, bring it on.
That's what they say, water off your back, right?
So I just tell them, bring it on. So for this person, Chanel, if you're listening, I will speak with you after the program. I definitely will speak with you after the program. So that's why I tell you, when we talk about all these different things, the things that affect our body and our mind and our behavior, and sometimes you have these changes in your behavior sexually and whatnot, and you try to interpret it or understand it. It's like trying to understand your dream. Why do you dream? Is it the subconscious mind telling you something? Is that at that moment something has invaded your space? What is happening? Who knows? But if it's beautiful and it's something all embracing like what this person has experienced, I will embrace that like crazy. I honestly don't want to dream a beautiful woman, and I want to dream that what she dreamt. I love to dream them kind of thing. Because I see beautiful women all the time. It's part of my life. There are times I'm fasting and I go to all these sex shows, you know, all over the world, you know. Nobody knows. When I'm invited out to dinner and whatnot, if they have vegetarian meal, I'll have that. If they don't have, but they normally have vegetarian, because there are lots of people now who are vegan and vegetarian.
We were modernized.
But I go. Nobody knows.
That's
it's my personal self.
Yeah, but apart from that, that's your inner soul.
Right, but I could be in it and out of it.
Yeah. I know you could have.
Well,
full
right.
control.
So if
have full
you
control
have
of
that
it.
mind control, you could be within something and not be part of it,
Yeah.
or you could be within it and be totally immersed in it.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned. You're hearing a band play. A band is playing, but it's not registering within you.
No,
It's just a normal.
no, it was just an ordinary day.
Just ordinary.
It was just anybody would have given their right arm to go and hear those bands playing in those days at Queen's Park Oval.
Well, of
The
course,
Oval
yeah.
Fete was the biggest fete before Brian Lara Fete and thing come about just before Carnival.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And people would leave the Oval and go down to Tragrate Road and then go down to Port of Spain and get into Juve. That's how it was.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do. We used to leave Sangre Grande and go and do that. But I was there and I wasn't part of it. So my body was there, but my mind was in the temple.
That's
And Ramesh will know what I'm talking about, because Ramesh know the temple I'm talking about. Our good friend Kishore has a temple in Koreal, and that's where we'll be. But you have to understand these things. And when that pundit came to me today and we were discussing that, I mean, he didn't have to come to me today and talk. He didn't have to tell me the things that he told me. He didn't have to show me some of the little things that makes more sense to me now. But it was the right time.
Yeah.
And not to say he knows me only now. His daughter and my daughter are friends. They went to school together. So he knows me many years.
Yeah, but the old saying, as it goes, nothing happens before its time.
Correct. But that's the very same thing. That very same thing of nothing happens before its time. It's the planetary alignment. If the planets don't align, it cannot happen.
Right. So just to say the timing was
The
correct.
astrology and numerology and those things is what control that. You might say, well, I see me and I old talk and all. But every religion on this earth believe in that. Astrology. Every religion, they believe in that. They know about that. They know by the moon phase when Easter is coming, when Lent is coming, all those things. They by the moon phase. Forget the date, because it's never on the same date. So you can't tell me they know by the date of the month. It's never the same date.
No, never. No.
And have you ever noticed that Shivratri is always around Carnival?
Carnival time, yeah. I learned that from you, because around Carnival time you always mention that.
Right.
You always mention.
And the same thing when you come down to the end of the year and you're coming close to Diwali. Most religions have light festivals around that time. Hanukkah and whatnot. Kwanzaa and all those things.
Yeah.
Christmas. They're always around that time. Why? And yet still we want to fight and quarrel with one another. And you want to tell me, well, mine better than yours and what? Crap.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, 21 minutes before 11 o'clock. You are on the inside of Sexplosion on Power 102.1 FM on this Friday evening with Dr. Raj. Don't forget our lines are open at 222-8255, also at 612-8255. Yeah.
Good night to Ramesh and Nancy. They're heading from South Carolina to Fort Lauderdale. They're listening to the program. My brother from, since I was a little boy.
Yeah.
We grew up together, literally grew up together.
Went to the same school as well?
Same school, same primary school and high school.
Was it the same?
Same year. Yeah. So, good night to you. So when I talk about these things, that's why I talk about that, so people start thinking it's not just about sex is not a haphazard thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Some people think that it happens in a haphazard way, and you go out there looking for it. But if the stars don't align for you to do that, you wouldn't do it. So sometimes you get angry for something that a behavior of an individual, but you don't try to understand the true nature of it and why it is happening.
Okay. We have a caller on the line. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Raj.
Good evening.
Dr. Raj Yoga Center. I put in you that name, Dr. Raj Yoga Center. I called to tell you something. Long, about 30 years ago when Baba was living, one of my pundits. Listening?
Yeah, listening?
Right. So one of my pundits, we have a bottle of Eclipse rum. And by Bindal, he have a little discussion with religious. So I asked him about that. I said, Baba, I don't understand the Hindu religion so much, but I would like to ask you a question because so I will learn.
Sure.
Right? You hear me?
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Right. So I will learn, and then I asked him about Ravan. I say if he had a man like Ravan on earth, and Ravan had 10 heads, and Ravan's 10 heads, we're supposed to have somebody like you, some part of the world, because he's a human being, and a human being created as Ravan. But recently I started reading the Quran, I reading the Bible, I reading the Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana in English. We have it now,
Correct.
So I'm reading it and I'm getting my own wisdom. Things coming into my mind as I'm 82 years and something now. And things coming into my mind. So what come into my mind was my grandchildren that asked me questions. So I just paused a little bit to answer. I said, boy, I have Ravan in me too,
Of course.
I tell him
That is the
Ravan, I said the
5 senses.
is 10 senses.
Correct.
I say,
Correct.
Ravan. So I pick up the plate, I pick up a knife, I pick up a book, I pick up about 10 things in my hand. And while I'm walking, I'm picking up a paper in the ground too. So I tell him, I say, I'm eyeballing. I say, I'm watching the floor, I'm watching the sky, I'm watching us. So you see, I have 10 things in my hands. So I said, this is what I bring Ravan to. He could do 10 things one time. And you know what the Pandit tell me? Sanatanis, Hinduism, as he was talking about, people don't accept Hinduism. He tells me Sanatanis, which is Hinduism, is like raindrops. It fall and it fill all the cracks and all the drain and whatever, and it goes into the sea. And that sea is Mother Ganga. According to you just saying, Hinduism don't hate no religion. And that is quite a fact. That is really true. I observe that when you join a Pentecostal, they say don't talk to your mama, don't talk to your father, do it parsa, don't...
Well, anybody who tell you don't talk to your mother and father, you have to tell them where to get off.
No.
Anybody who tell you that.
Right. So I telling myself, I say, you know something? I know in my something years, I know...
You know, understand it. But you're right. Ravan is the 5 senses and the 5 actions. That's what it is.
5 actions.
Yes.
Okay.
That is where you got the 10. But Ravan is also a divine soul, eh?
Yes.
Don't feel Ravan was an ordinary soul, He was not an ordinary human being,
I know that.
Oh, he got a boon from Lord Shiva.
Right.
Otherwise, he couldn't do what he did.
Yeah, but according to you rightly say, he get that wisdom and knowledge.
And he used it for wrong.
For bad things.
Because he wanted to be greater than God. And in all religion teach you that the person who tried to be greater than God does be destroyed by God.
Right. So I learned that raindrops are like Sanatan Hinduism. They fall all cracks, everything, and it goes dying. And recently my Bauji telling me, I have a Bauji we just discussed things. And she tell me, how am I going to say today our 10 fingers. is a Davina.
Each one of them represent a Devi.
The one where you play the bane, the big thing there.
Divina?
Saraswati Mata.
Saraswati, yeah, Divina.
He said Saraswati is in your 10 fingers. So I said, Bauji, how I can? And she explained it to me, because 10 fingers is, you could do a lot of things with your fingers. So probably you might explore that a little bit for me.
Correct. And she also is in your tongue. You do Saraswati Vandana when you have to do things like this program and then. Yeah. We don't just do things Vaiki. In your mind, you just do the Saraswati Vandana and you come and you sit down here and do a program. Some people have asked me why you don't prepare a program, because it's in my brain. Mother Saraswati have to bring it out. That's how it comes out.
Well, I know that for a fact.
But that's how it comes out.
Working here with you.
I am now letting people know that, but I don't need it. When I do my Vandana and whatnot, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock and roll. Sitaram to my nephew, Rohan, he's on. Better known as Matches.
Oh, family man.
Yes.
It's a long time.
But when I talk about those things and I talk about that divine essence that you have within you, and you getting that, it's like radiology, You could go to a place that's radioactive and pick up radioactive waves, and you have no idea. You feel a vibration within you and things are happening, That's why I tell people, if you ever get the opportunity, go and walk on the seashore of Manzanilla, If you want to re-energize yourself, if you want to feel the power of the sun and the power of that divine power, go and walk on Manzanilla Beach. Walk on that seashore. There are portals on that beach,
Really?
And I didn't say so, But I know so. I didn't say so, but I know so.
You know about it?
Of course. Since we are little children, we know about that. But how do you go and tell people that? People say you're mad. You're kind of crazy. How are we going to have that?
I want to tell you that we are giving our listeners what they want and expect from a good radio program when it comes to sex education, right here on Power 102.1 FM. Your number one all-around station when it comes to talk and music. Our lines are open at 222-8255, also at 612-8255. Sexplosion on this Friday evening. Yeah.
So when persons in a disparaging way tells you things that they don't understand, now that's why I tell you, the young Sanatanists out there, the young folks out there feel they know plenty, and they think that they don't need to know these rituals and they don't need to know where they come from. Marcus Garvey said it, If you don't know your history, you don't know where you're heading to, If you don't know your past, you cannot know your future. Because your past is a reflection of your future. And your future is a reflection of your past. Because the things that you do and you experience will determine what happens to you. If you're going down the road and you reach by Grand Bazaar there and you decide to take the highway going so, and you change your path?
Yes.
Right. And where you'll end up? That's south of the Caroni River.
Right.
And if you're headed straight, you might end up in Sangre Grande. Is you have taken a path. But it is dependent on your past. You coming from Port of Spain, your past was Port of Spain. So your past determines your future.
And you're going into your future.
Yes. It is as simple as that. If people cannot understand those analogy, something is wrong. And life is like that. The things we experience as a young man and a young woman. That's why last night when we were talking about the brain, the things that affect the brain in a negative way will affect you later on. In the future. But you'll say, but that was the past. In the past I used to take tablets. In the past I used to smoke cocaine. In the past I used to use LSD. Why is it affecting me now? I stopped doing it. Come like a gentleman come to me. You just smoke cigarettes? But I stopped 10 days ago. How long you smoke cigarette for before? 15 years. So you feel stopping smoking cigarette 10 days ago mean you stop? You mean you take a break? The only time you can say stop is 15 years down the road.
As time passes
by, because you haven't stopped. That's what people don't understand, You will say, I stopped doing this. But I stopped masturbating, boy. Years now I stopped masturbating. Okay, sure, no problem. So you don't have the urge to feel to masturbate? Well, yeah, but I stopped masturbating. I said, so if one day you meet a nice lady and she say, well, let's do mutual masturbation. You jump your penis and I play with my vagina. What would you tell her? No, you don't masturbate?
He'll jump the gun.
So never say never. Never say never. You don't. I have heard big men say, I will not do that. Or you can't catch me doing that. And they fall in the same trap, you know. I am not. What happened? What happened? You're leaking? Or
The boat have a
your
hole.
boat have a
The
leak.
boat have a hole. Yeah.
I have heard men and women say that I will not do this and will not do that. I don't ever say that. I'm not going to put my hand on no holy book and swear that I am this and I am that. I don't know what I will be. I know I ain't going to steal from nobody.
Well, you see, the thing
That
about
one
you,
I go tell you.
But the thing about you is that you know yourself.
Correct.
You know yourself. And this goes back to your religion.
It goes back to the past.
Your part. The way you was brought up
Right.
too, eh?
Correct. And the things that you were taught as a young man.
As a young child.
My grandparents influenced me, my nana, my nanny, my aja. My grandmother, well, she was my grand aunt, but she became my grandmother. Those are the people who influenced me. Then my mother and my father and my uncles, my aunts. But it's the strength of their belief.
That's the most important thing.
Let's
So
take
tell
a
you
break.
what, yes, we're going to take a break and we're going to come right back. Just to remind you once again that you are on the inside on this Friday evening, Sexplosion, with the only sexologist in the Caribbean, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center, which is located in St. Augustine. We're going to take that break and we'll be right back with you. Stay tuned.
Before you act, think twice. Think twice. Think clean. Go green. For environmental awareness. Power 102 FM and Blue 94 FM continue to champion responsible action for life, safety, and now a cleaner environment. Our planet is what we make of it, so let's make the right choices. The choice to reduce, to reuse, to recycle, to conserve, to preserve, to responsibly dispose, and to be more mindful of how we impact the world around us for this generation and those still to come. Join us for daily tips on how you can get involved at home, at work, and in your communities. Encourage your neighbors, colleagues, and family as well. Help change the culture and behaviors for a greener, more environmentally conscious TNT. Think twice. Think twice. For environmental awareness. Brought to you by Swimco, the Trinidad and Tobago Solid Waste Management Company Limited. Power 102 FM and Boom 94 in association with the Gillette Group of Companies. Bush Mountain TT, Salo Enterprises, and the Price Club Supermarket. Think twice. Think twice for a cleaner, greener Trinidad and Tobago.
Are the problems and destructive anxieties of today tearing you apart? If there was ever a time to readjust your priorities and refocus your vision, it's now. Join Pastor Wayne Sampson on the Vision of Hope devotional program every Monday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. right here on Power 102 FM. Jesus is the only one who can give you peace in the midst of today's storm.
I want to continue more now than ever. We are taking sex education where it has never been before, right here on Power 102 FM. Every Thursday and Friday evening with the only sexologist in the Caribbean, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center, which is located in St. Augustine. Don't forget, folks, our lines are open if you would love to interact with him at 222-8255. Also at 612-8255. Yeah.
Yes, so it is not by VAPs that I speak about these things, and I tell you, because I got that connection today with all that information, it was very important for me to put it out there. The numerology and the astrology and the sexology. Well, of course, the sexology part I knew before, and that is what we use on the program. That's the only time I ever use a book on my program, because there are things in there you can't commit to memory.
Yeah.
You just can't commit it to memory. And somebody asked, what are the main planets in dealing with these things that affects human being? Mars, the moon,
Mars, okay. Yeah.
Venus.
Well, the moon is basically the most important.
But for Hindus, we know about Rahu and Ketu. We know about that. Those two planets, we don't play with the fool with them.
Yeah.
Nope.
Don't mess with
The
those.
Navgraha, the 9 planets. It's called the Navgraha. Nav means 9. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, again, if you are serious about these things and you want to learn more about it, you have to have an open mind. One thing a Hindu will never tell you is to convert him, because we cannot convert. You can't convert to Hinduism.
So
You could accept the way of life, you could remain a Christian
Yeah.
and still be a Hindu.
Yeah, but could you be a Christian and convert into a Hindu?
No, you can't convert.
You can't.
No.
So once he's a Hindu, he's a Hindu.
You could convert from Hinduism to anything. You could leave Hinduism and go to anything. It's your choice.
Okay. So
It's your choice.
Yeah. So you can.
But you cannot convert from one religion into
To
Hinduism
Hindu.
because they don't
Uh-huh.
allow that.
Okay.
We don't allow conversion.
Okay.
What you are born into, we know that's a divine thing. God made you that. But you could accept the teachings of Hinduism. If you watch the movie The Life of Pi, you saw that movie, The Life of Pi?
No, then.
You never saw The Life of Pi?
No.
Look at that movie. At the beginning of the movie, that great actor called Irfan Khan, fantastic actor. He's one of my favorite actors. He and Nana Patekar. People don't really look at their
What's
movies,
the name
but
of the movie?
The Life of Pi.
The Life of Pi.
Right. At the beginning of the movie, when they were asking him the story, he was telling the reporter, he said, the reporter asked him, aren't you a Hindu? He said, yes, but you could be a Christian Hindu, a Muslim Hindu, a Jew Hindu. You could be anything and Hindu. Other religion will not accept that. They will tell you have to renounce yours to accept theirs.
Yeah.
We don't do that. Can't do that. We cannot ask you to renounce what God made you.
Food for thought.
You could take the teachings of it.
Yeah.
So that's why I tell the young minds out there that are out there, forget the ritual part of it. You're bound to do the ritual, but learn the philosophy. Learn the philosophy of that beautiful thing called Sanatan Dharma. Just learn the philosophy. So that when you are challenged and somebody tells you something negative, you could stand up and have
you could converse.
Yeah,
with
you
them.
could converse with anyone. With anyone. And you have to ask them when somebody tell you about caste system and all these things, well, which other belief system will embrace you, no matter what. The only place that everybody found refuge in this world is India. The Jews found refuge in India. There are Jews in India when they were being persecuted. India was the only country that accepted the Jews during World War II. Yes. There was a king in India. Although India was ruled by the British, there was a king in India who went against the British and accepted the Jews. Do you know the Africans, when they were being persecuted, ran to India? There are places in India that the whole village is Africans.
Yes.
No, not the Araman Island. I'm not talking about the Araman Island. I'm talking about villages that are pure Africans. Nobody asked them to convert for anything. Nobody.
Wow.
But you could live there and you could get citizenship there and you could get everything else there.
Interesting.
So it's the very same thing with astrology and numerology and all those things when we talk. That's why when I talk about sex and I talk about, I tell people, when you want to condemn these things, learn, read, watch the depiction of all the sexual act that you could ever imagine in that brain of yours, depicted on the face, the walls of the temples in India. There are certain acts that when you see it, you say, but God, my God, human beings could do that. And it's being done in depiction. And it's on the wall of a temple. It's come like you put it on the wall of a church. If you put that on the wall of a church, somebody will say that desecration.
Well, yeah.
It come like somebody was explaining that all church have this symbol at the top of it. Do you know what that symbol is? The vagina. The archway and what the entrance to the church is that symbol. And another person said, well, that's blasphemy. You shouldn't say that. She said, but it's the truth. Because it comes from that pagan belief. You enter through that symbol, that sign. It's the shape of the vagina. I know that'll blow a lot of people's mind, and they'll say, "What's wrong with you, boy?" I'm not condemning anything, and I'm not saying that to put down. I'm making a point.
You're just making a point, basically.
I'm making a point.
Yeah.
But we throw the sexual side aside because we tell ourselves God don't know nothing about sex. God can't know nothing about sex. Sex is a nasty thing. Sex is the devil work. Yeah, I hear people say that already.
Yes, I heard that statement already.
But how sex will be the devil work, and it is what you need for recreation and procreation of the human species and all other species. Even plants. Even plants.
Yeah.
So
very interesting topic this
you have to be
evening.
very careful about what you condemn and what you say. You have to be very careful about what you condemn and what you say in this life. And that's why one of the symbol in the thing, I'll end with that. One of the things that he showed me with that numerology is when you're born under that certain number, you're very open-minded and very broad-minded and very encompassing. You see everybody equal. And for years I was trying to figure, why do I see everybody equal? That's why that same thing we come back to namaste. You say namaste or sitaram. I bow to that which is divine in you. So everybody have that spark of divinity within them. Good night.
I tell you. You have been listening to Sexplosion on Power 102 FM with the only sexologist in the Caribbean, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center. And for those of you who are listening to Sexplosion for the very first time, Sexplosion is featured here on Power 102 FM every Thursday and Friday evening.